Wow, people are dropping like flies in the NFL right now. QB there, QB here, QB over there. Kind of disappointing. Like, it's not good for the sport. Wouldn't you say? Like, you want these star quarterbacks like Matt Stafford to play and Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's very upsetting. Feel, very bad that these guys are probably done for at least a few weeks. It's caused trades to occur. Just a lot of craziness ensuing after
Think
week
about
8.
this. At one time, NFC North, like all the quarterbacks that have gotten hurt, like would be out. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, Justin Fields, all of which originated in the NFC. Isn't that nuts?
That is,
like,
I
what
didn't
if they
even
were
think
all
about
on
that.
the same team? Like, what if they were all still in the NFC at the same time and all got hurt? Like, that division just becomes so much more interesting. It's like, wow. Like,
yeah,
it's like everyone just got,
that's a wacky stat, dude. That's like the NFC equinox.
I know.
Like a crazy concoction.
Playing field has been leveled. It's just a backup QB fest. That would be kind of nuts, but it's not, unfortunately. Although a lot of, breaks here and there. We got Desmond Ridder out. Is it because of injury? Is it because he's bad? I think it's because he's bad, but who knows who will start for the Falcons. Either way, the Vikings know that they are going to have a hodgepodge at QB. But, of course, welcome back to the Sideline Sorcerers. We have a lot to talk about today. Of course, we're going to take a look back on the Week 8, a very weird, historic week in the sense that there were no buys. Like, I can't remember, and I don't think I could remember the last time where there was like a mid-season anti-buy.
An anti-buy.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah, that's a saucy little term for it. But
I know it was like a lot to handle. It's like, you're kind of like your stomach lessens as you eat less, like if you're trying to lose weight. So like as these weeks go on, like I'm only like my stomach bandwidth is only like for 12 games, and then like I'm force fed like 16 games, dude, like absolutely straight down the gullet. So but
it makes our records look a little more palatable since we're both in double digit wins this week.
Yeah, I know the 5 and 9 or whatever it was last week was not ideal, but yeah. And then we're going to talk about week 9, make our predictions, which have proven, now that we have a pretty large sample size, that be pretty good. That's all I'm going to say. Like, we give you guys some value, so definitely tune into our shorts later on in the week as well. But yeah, let's start with Thursday Night Football. What did you think?
Tampa Bay at Buffalo. I thought that Buffalo was going to look a little bit more dominant. Like, they kind of they did look really solid against Tampa Bay, but I thought I said that this was going to be like a 30-13 kind of game, something like that. What was it, like 24-18? Like, it was a little
24-18. Yeah,
it was a little closer than I thought it would be, but Josh Allen still looked really solid. He put up like 33 fantasy points. It was like 3 tuds.
Yeah, the offense runs through him, whether it's a rushing touchdown or passing touchdowns. He's always due for a pick. But yeah, the Bills look, they took care of business, although they are like Chris Godwin turning around from losing that game. Literally
That's true.
Hail Mary didn't touch anybody, and not to mention also that Cade Otton pretty much got tackled before the ball even came
all that
there.
pass interference.
Everyone was just like a bunch of raccoons just going at it in the garbage can. Everyone's kind of on the ground. Chris Godwin's getting kind of turned away from the play, although I think he could have still turned around and couched that ball. And then they get a touchdown, kick an extra point, they win that game. It's kind of nuts to think about. Buffalo did kind of come close to just losing that game, and they just wouldn't have even noticed it had happened.
I can see Allen's face of disappointment, having just, if Godwin caught that ball, he's just going to be sitting on the bench, helmet off. His eyes are going to be looking a little teary.
It's no one in that entire game gave the Bucs any chance. You thought the Bills had put the game out of play.
Yeah.
And then that last drive, you got those PI calls. You get, I think it was what was it, the face mask, 4th and 10 touchdown to Mike Evans. It's what the hell happened here? But they managed to get out of it safe and sound.
Yes, sir. And thank God Mike Evans came in clutch with that touchdown to cash our short for us. That was
my goodness gracious.
Giga sweat. I think the announcers pulled the stat out that he has had 90 some career games or something like that, and he's only been held under 10 yards once.
It just would have been egregious for the one time we bet on him. That happens, but thankfully not.
Yeah, I think that brings us to 4-1 on the season, or 5-1, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 4-1.
Okay, yeah.
It really is disappointing. It was heart-wrenching because he had caught one that put him over that, but it was called back for a penalty. So it was
they're playing with my emotions there.
I know. Thankfully, though, everything came out fine from this game. It was, a couple, things here and there away from chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Can only take so much chaos in this world.
Right.
Jets at Giants was a lot of chaos. I don't think I've quite ever seen a game like this where the Giants almost won with like 8 passing yards on the day. I mean, I don't understand why don't they just trust this DeVito kid a little bit? Like at some point, just have him throw like an easy like check down. Like do something to get him going a little bit. Like he is a professional quarterback at this point. Like just have him do some. Like this kid came out of Illinois. I'm not sure if you know.
I did not
University of Illinois.
Okay.
Like so he's somewhat competent, but
Right.
like they made it seem like he's just like a random dude in there who just has to pass the ball off or hand the ball off every single time. I mean the Jets just look so bad. It's like, dude, Tyrod Taylor's out. You're going up against a team that you know is going to run the ball every single time with
Right.
Saquon or do some sort of wide receiver run, jet fake or whatever it is. And yet you almost lost this game. Like it needed heroics. You needed a missed field goal within the 40. You needed Zach Wilson to complete some crazy big passes to tie it up, to go to overtime, to then kick another field goal to win. Like it's absolutely absurd to me, this game.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like the raccoon game of the week to me. This was just ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, I cannot believe it still. Like I just... they're running the ball every single time,
right?
And yet they are still having decent success with it. But yeah, I don't know. The Giants kind of gave this one away. Like I think if they're expecting you to run the ball every time, maybe on that 4th and 1, you actually call a pass and let that DeVito kid throw it.
Yeah, give it to Waller or the Juan Diddler. Like they do have it's not great talent, but they at least have like some guys who can catch the ball.
What I don't get is like the quarterback, like you don't have to treat him as like a bozo, like
Right.
he could throw the ball. Like in Minnesota, Kirk Cousins goes out, they have the Jerem Wallen or whatever come in and throw a couple passes, and he completed 3 of 4.
Right.
And like I'd say this guy's kind of equivalent to that, but whatever.
Yeah, it's almost like a confidence builder for them too. They complete a couple of passes, they feel a little more comfortable, a little more confident, and then they could actually like carry the team to a victory. But if you just let him hand it off, it's like he's not contributing at all and is not going to drive success for the team.
Especially if the other team, like you've set the precedent that you're going to run every time.
Right.
Maybe just now take a shot. Oh well. Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. I love the under on this one because I saw the weather in Pittsburgh was going to be gnarly. Very happy that one hit. I mean, they were just kicking field goals in this game. Kenny Pickett. I don't know if you watched this game. This is one of the games I watched. I was like, I'm not going to watch the Vikings Green Bay. I'm going to watch this game. It seems a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
First play of the game, Kenny Pickett rips one down the middle, wide open. I think George Pickens, I think it was Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
And just completely overthrows him. I mean, you could just tell from that moment on, the tone was already set for the game. Kenny Pickett, I mean, I know it's his first throw in the game, but you got to make that throw. It was wide open.
Yeah.
And yeah, he goes on to get hurt. Mitch Trubisky comes in. We all know what Mitch Trubisky's about. Throws a touchdown, throws a pick. Trevor Lawrence throws for a ton of yards. Lots of turnovers in this game, but just kind of went the way you expected it to go because Pittsburgh has major QB issues.
Yeah, they do. Kenny is not really living up to expectations, the preseason expectations of him, that's for sure. And
I have to admit, like I thought he was going to be good.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be all right. I really did.
You've said before that like he could be like similar to like a Brock Purdy where like he would do well in a team like San Fran, but I mean he's just not really proving that to be the case in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I mean he could do well on San Fran, I'd say, but like talent on Pittsburgh ain't that bad. Like George Pickens is a really good player.
Yeah.
So
deep
it's
threat.
Kind of frustrating. I think they are worse than their record shows even at 4-3 now. I think they may still be able to win this week just because it's the Steelers and they're going up against a rookie quarterback at this point, but I think ultimately their season will start to unravel as the weeks go on.
Yeah, Baltimore is going to win that division, I think, and Pittsburgh might be lucky to sneak in a wild card, but I think it would be very
Absolutely
tough
not.
for them.
I mean, they're not going to beat
No,
the
you don't
Bengals.
think?
They're not. They haven't played the Bengals once this year. I think they get swept by the Bengals. I think they still have to play. Who do they still have to play? They still have to play the Seahawks. They have to play the Cardinals. That'll be a win.
They could get like a sneaky win against the Seahawks. Like I feel like Pittsburgh gets a lot of those sneaky.
I mean, they
wins.
do, yeah. But I think they get swept by the Bengals. I think they lose another one to the Ravens and the Browns. They beat the Browns earlier in the year by some stroke of luck. So you could write them off.
Okay.
I know I said that about the Bengals a few weeks ago. Like I was listening to one of our old podcasts, and I said you could just write them off this year. Might have to reevaluate that one, but
yeah, I mean you're taking them over the Bills this week, so definitely seems like that's going to need some reevaluation.
Well, you know, his calf, Joe Burrow's calf, just kind of healed up magically. You know, it went from like being really, really bad to like now he looks fine. So I just thought it would take a few more weeks to kind of ease him into it.
It's these NFL doctors, man. Same with Rodgers. He's gonna
I don't know. I don't know about that. I think he just wants attention at this point, but. Yeah, plus the Bengals' schedule got really hard. I mean, this 3-game stretch here, Seahawks, Niners, and now Bills. Mm-hmm. They're going to get the Chiefs here eventually. They have to play, I think, the Jaguars. So, I mean, it's still a tough road for them, but I do like the way they're playing. Next up, we got Philadelphia at Washington. Yet another close game, but I love Philadelphia and how they play. I'm not a big fan of them, like, emotionally, but man, they are tough. Like they were down early in this game. Mm-hmm. Washington fighting tooth and nail, just like they did last time when it was in Philly. But Philly's just so good. Like AJ Brown is just a monster out there.
Yeah,
they're unstoppable. Although tried that tush push again that they've been so good at. Jalen Hurts fumbles the ball. Starting to see the risks of taking that play and just kind of like spamming it every single time. But yeah, very interesting. Sam Howell threw 4 touchdowns, very productive. He is just like every other game, he'll go off, Yeah. He'll go off 4 touchdowns, or what was it? 2 touchdowns against like the Broncos, but then 4 picks against the Bills. And then, he has
sucks against the Bears.
I mean, he still threw for a ton of yards against the Bears. I mean, he threw for like 377 yards. I mean, they lost, but I don't think it was all him in that game. But yeah, just kind of a crazy game.
Yeah, I cannot believe that Washington kept it so close. The same way they did last time. It was 34-31 last time, and this time 38-31. Like, how? Yeah,
I really didn't think it would be another game like that. Like, usually that doesn't happen. Usually, like everyone kind of learns from the first time, and it becomes like a different style of game.
Yeah, but props to them for keeping it close.
Yeah, no, I mean their offense looks really capable.
Yeah.
Rams at Dallas. This one, yeah, I kind of had a feeling Dallas was going to come in and just kind of blow their doors off.
You got me here. Rams were my upset pick of the week. I really had confidence in them after last week. I thought that they were going to be so angry from that loss, and you were totally right. Dallas just came in and pounded them.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas just looks really good. I mean, the Rams' defense is not what it used to be. Dak played really well, 4 touchdown passes as well. A lot of players this week threw 4 touchdown passes. Kind of nuts. I still don't really believe in Dallas long term, but they're going to make the playoffs, probably be the number 1 wild card. And it's really unfortunate to see Matt Stafford go down again. I mean, he got hurt about this time last season. So, yeah, I think the Rams, they're 3-5 now, probably going to be 3-6. So it's going to be a tough year for them, but they're rebuilding.
Do you know what the timeline is for Stafford's return?
So he's definitely not playing this week, but I do think there's a chance he plays the following week. And I think it's a pretty short-term type of thing.
Okay.
Not as bad as last year.
Yeah, probably week 11 because I know that they have their bye week 10.
Yeah. So hopefully he comes back because I don't want to be seeing Bryce Perkins or whoever they got these days.
Rippin?
Oh, yeah, Brett Rippin. I'm tired of Brett Rippin. He's been on the Broncos, we see him play. I'd rather honestly see Bryce Perkins play. Bryce Perkins, QB at Virginia, who Notre Dame actually played back in the day.
No way.
Yeah, I know. Kind of nuts.
I can't believe you remember those stats, man. That's wild.
It's important to remember who walks into our stadium that we watch.
Yeah.
And then we eventually see him in the NFL.
That's true.
All right, so moving on. We got Minnesota at Green Bay. Was a little worried about this game just because Vegas, was kind of telling you that they might like Green Bay in this game. But sure enough, Minnesota took care of business.
Despite the Kirk injury.
Yeah, he was healthy enough for, the majority of the game to put them up and, put the game out of hand. So I'm very happy for them in the sense that they kind of turned around their season, but also really disappointed to see Kirk Cousins go down while he was having one of his best years yet. And then on the Green Bay front, Jordan Love just ain't it. I really thought he was going to be decent after those first couple games this season, but he was really struggling. Receivers aren't doing great either. Defense doesn't look great. It's just a bad team right now.
And neither do the running backs. Yeah, I mean,
AJ Dillon is just rough. AJ Dillon also played against Notre Dame at one point.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
We watched him? We were there?
I think so. I need to look back to see what team he was on, but he definitely played against Notre Dame at one point in the last few years. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yep. You have any thoughts on this game?
Yeah, just Not a whole lot to add. I'm glad I traded Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon because
Jesus.
I don't want anyone on the Packers on my fantasy team, dude. They all just kind of blow.
Yeah, everyone, kicker, defense, everyone.
Yeah.
Like I think Jordan Love's a droppable QB. I think he's worse than
100%.
Bryce Young at this point.
Yeah.
In terms of fantasy, if we're talking that way. Atlanta at Tennessee. You guys know in the pod last week I wanted to take Tennessee so bad, no matter who was playing at quarterback. As I said, coming off of a bye, Mike Vrabel's just really good, and Atlanta on the road just really bad. And yet I still picked Atlanta. They managed to keep it close. They only lost by 5 points. They had a chance at the end of the game to go down the field and score a touchdown, take the lead. They couldn't do it, even though I think Tyler Heineke gives them a much better chance than Desmond Ridder. I mean, you look at their stats. Taylor Heineke comes in. He's automatically throwing for way more yards, being way more productive than Ridder was being, even though they're calling it like an injury-based benching. I really do believe it was more performance-based. But yeah, Will Levis just comes out and goes absolutely bonkers.
4 tuds, bro.
I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean, Will Levis was not that good in college. He was decent at Kentucky, started for a while, but had some injury history. He was projected to go earlier in the draft, but then really fell as things went on. I don't believe in him long term. Just think it's one of those things you don't really know who this guy is. And that first touchdown he threw, there could have been some offensive pass interference on that, but I also am disappointed in, I don't know who it was, but the Atlanta defender there. I don't know if you saw this play. The Atlanta defender just completely gives up on the play, and he starts throwing his hands up in the air.
The one to D-Hop?
The first one, to D-Hop, the very first one. I mean, it's down the sideline, left sideline.
Yeah.
Atlanta defender is going like this as the ball is coming and being caught by D-Hop. Atlanta defender is already pulling back and throwing his hands up in the air looking for the flag.
You can't do that, bro. You cannot.
I think he could have either swatted away or tackled him.
Yeah.
Maybe even you could have even forced him to fumble that ball. But he just gives up on it entirely. I'll have to show it to you.
Yeah.
I was disappointed, but either way. They just, they had no idea what was coming from with Will Levis. It seems like they walked in overconfident, and the Titans just look super prepared for this game. So good for them. I like Will Levis. I just don't think he's going to be the guy long term.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to bring action to D-Hop that Tannehill and I forgot who was the backup that
Malik
played.
Willis.
Yes, Malik Willis. Yeah, that he couldn't. Really, and then D-Hop goes for 3 tuds out of nowhere.
I know,
but it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
It really hurts me because I am a big Ryan Tannehill fan. I love the guy. He's such a great guy. Such a great underdog story. But this that's not a good look for him. This makes him look pretty bad. This random rookie quarterback comes in and just goes nuts on a pretty good defense. Atlanta's defense coming in this game was top 3 or 4 or whatever. So it's not a great look for him. I honestly thought they might have dealed him to the Vikings before Josh Dobbs went to the Vikings. So, yeah, I mean, not a great look for him. Kind of interesting to see how it goes. I know Tannehill's technically hurt right now, but I don't think he comes back until Levis starts playing poorly. I mean, you throw 4 touchdowns in the league.
Right.
You're starting the next week no matter what. No matter, who it is. So
maybe Levis will be your new underdog story favorite.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I already got my favorites at this point. I like Tannehill, but if Tannehill's going to be out, Joe Burrow's my guy.
Okay.
Joe Burrow's my guy.
Joe Shiesty. Fair enough.
Yeah, Joe Burr.
Good stuff.
He's got so many names.
Yeah.
New England at Miami. This one also, kind of like the Philadelphia-Washington game, was a very similar game to the first time they played. Not as close, but still kind of similar in the way it played out. I don't think there's anything to say here. Tua, kind of like Josh Allen, always good for a pick, throws a bunch of touchdowns, and that is it.
Yeah, the only thing I would have to add here is Kendrick Bourne had a good day, and then he got injured, and he's done for the season.
It's kind of like the story for everyone. Kirk Cousins having a great season.
Yeah.
You're done. Aaron Rodgers on pace to probably have a good season. You're done. Sucks. Dude, it's not good for football, man.
No, it really is not.
I do want to say Miami has not beaten a team with a winning record in over 400 days.
No way.
So, they have a chance this weekend. I think I'm going to pick them to win. But it's a little hard to pick them to win with that stat.
Yeah, that definitely is. It's like your Desmond Ridder never loses at home stat.
And now I pick against it. But that actually happened, though. It did happen when they played Washington.
So maybe you should listen to Rhett's Miami at Kansas City pick this week because he seems to have that nice foresight.
It's a weird game, dude. It's in Germany. I don't know if you know that, but
Oh,
it's
that's
actually
right.
in
Yes,
Germany
yes.
at the crack ass of dawn.
Yeah, I do
So,
remember that.
yeah, make
now.
sure you guys, don't stay up watching Arizona football, Pac-12 football on Saturday night, and make sure you get your sleep so you could wake up and watch this Germany game.
Yeah. Is that the first one ever?
No, I don't think. No, last year was Seattle at Tampa Bay. Well, Seattle and Tampa Bay in Germany. I'm not sure if anyone played before there, but I think actually that was the first game in Germany. I really do believe it was the Seattle Tampa Bay game.
Got it.
That Tampa Bay won, so they needed that win last year. I paid so much more attention to football when Tom Brady was in it.
Yeah.
But anyways, New Orleans at Indianapolis. Thankfully, this was a pretty close back and forth game, and then New Orleans put out of reach as the game went on. Derek Carr had a really good game without even having Chris Olave involved too much, and it just kind of goes to what I said in the pod last week. It wasn't all his fault in that Thursday night game against Jacksonville. The receivers were just not helping him out. I mean, he wasn't great, but the receivers weren't helping him out. In this game, even without Chris Olave, the receivers played very well. However, the Colts just have no idea how to defend Rashid Shaheed. I mean, did you see this? Rashid Shaheed, 3 receptions for 153 yards.
How does he keep doing it, bro?
It's nuts. I mean, how do you not? How do you fall for that same trick every single time? I mean, Rashid Shaheed, I mean, it's like he's like one of those breakouts in fantasy that you can't trust because he's not going to have that every game. I mean, he's only got 3 receptions. The fact it's so inflated.
I've got a crazy stat for you here, bro. So since week 12 of last season, Chris Olave has 112 targets, 799 yards. How many do you think Rashid Shaheed has? Targets and yards. So if Olave has 112 targets, 799 yards, what would you guess Rashid Shaheed would have?
I bet Rashid Shaheed has about 600 yards with, let's go with 57 targets.
That's a good guess. 64 targets, so around half of Olave, a little bit more than half.
No way.
856 yards. More yards than Olave.
He's got more yards?
Yards. 57 more yards on half the targets.
Dude, that's absolutely insane, even though he's the deep ball guy. It's no.
It can't keep happening. How does he do it every week?
I'm getting a little upset with Chris Olave, especially because everyone's hating on Derek Carr and not Chris Olave. I mean, I've seen people, even one of my favorite guys that I watch, he's yelling at Derek Carr because Derek Carr is yelling at Chris Olave on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, Derek, it's all your fault. And Chris Olave is just doing his job. No, I mean, Chris Olave is making mistakes out there. He's giving up on routes. He's not catching the ball. I mean, it's kind of like Cooper Kupp, 11 targets. I mean, I love Cooper Kupp. It's not his fault, but Cooper Kupp's one of those guys. He's getting all these targets, not hauling anything in.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to make a play.
Yeah, maybe it's got something. Might be something to do with Olave's ego at this point. Like we talked about last week, that he got out of that cop, or he talked to the cop, and he was like,
great point.
I play for the Saints. Okay, well, that doesn't mean anything. And then are you letting that carry over into your games? You're acting cocky on the sidelines. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that whole incident that we talked about last week.
But you were right. He did play. I thought he was going to sit out.
Yeah, I know. It's it's one of those minor things, if he did something a little bit more serious with, maybe a girl or something, he would have definitely not in play. But, I mean, he plays for the Saints, man.
Right.
Who you can. But, all right, yeah, this was a pretty good game. Gardner Minshew was all right. Not very productive, not very efficient, but it's kind of what you expect out of the Colts at this point. They're playing horrible defense. Houston at Carolina. I was getting a little worried about this one. You got me on the Houston train. I'm not sure if I wanted to get on the Houston train, and they let us down.
They did, yeah. I'm sorry. I wanted you to go for a ride, dude. I've been enjoying my bull rides.
I mean, you're going to Houston soon, so maybe you can pick up some insight while you're down there. But, how does a winless Carolina team beat a Houston team that's actually looked pretty good this year?
Bro, this was just a bozo game. I mean, this was I can't even explain it.
You're the under in this game. You're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it was 15-13 is the final score here. I mean, did Carolina even have a touchdown, or was it all?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
I think they went for 2 and did not get it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Dude, I can't even explain this one. Houston has they beat They beat Jacksonville, right? It was like their first big
I mean,
win.
they blew out Jacksonville. They
Yeah.
blew out the Steelers. They beat the Saints.
And
they
they lose
lost
to
to the
Carolina.
Falcons. Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling it was going to happen, though.
You
I
did call
don't
it.
know. I just kind of had a feeling team just can't go winless that much. Like, it's the NFL.
Yeah.
And if anything can happen, like if Carolina could even go out and beat Kansas City, then this can certainly happen as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad, Bryce Young got a win. He definitely outplayed CJ Stroud, who had been outplaying him for the entirety of the season. So just kind of keeps things interesting in terms of who is going to be the better quarterback. Up until this point, it was CJ Stroud. Now, Bryce Young's like, hold on a second. I ain't done yet. So
make him question that.
It was an interesting matchup. I wish it got a little bit more publicity because, you got like the two top quarterbacks of the draft going up against each other in their first year. They're not even in the same conference. Mm-hmm. That's a kind of a big deal. But
it wasn't a very exciting game, though.
No, so no one really cares.
Yeah, probably why there wasn't too much publicity around it.
Yeah. Cleveland at Seattle. This one was a little tight for Seattle. Geno Smith trying to give the ball game away by throwing a couple picks. Thankfully, they're going up against PJ Walker, who turned the ball over as well.
PJ's always good for picks, bro.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson is just a head scratcher to me. I really thought he was going to play. Like, I could have sworn they said he was going to play in this game at the end of the Colts game last week.
He just didn't get his massage this week. He was feeling sore.
Yeah, I guess so.
Couldn't bring himself to play.
I just don't understand how you fall from grace. Like, I know, he spent a couple years off, but he was so elite. He was so good.
Dude, he was a lethal
back
rusher
in the day.
Yeah.
So this is just weird. I think Cleveland's kind of pissing their season away. They got really lucky beating San Fran and the Colts. They could have easily lost both their games and now had a 3-game losing streak in which their season's basically done. They're very lucky to have won those games, but of course, as you can see in this one, luck runs out.
Yeah, their defense is the one that's winning them these games.
Yeah,
their offense can't do a whole lot.
I know. I actually picked PJ Walker under 200 yards in this game, and unfortunately, that did not hit. So, he threw for a ton of yards in the first half, and that immediately was not looking good for me.
Yeah.
But still, though, he kind of played the way I thought he would. Mm-hmm. Not great.
The under on his fantasy points was probably the one to take.
Yeah, that's actually, yes, I could have done that. Silly old me. I'm just a big passing yards guy in Prize Picks.
Yeah.
I never venture down the taps.
Yeah, the fantasy one can get tough too, because then if he throws for a touchdown, it's worth 4 or 6 points.
I got boned a couple weeks ago. Trevor Lawrence, I had under 17 fantasy points. He gets 18.
Bruh.
Ugh. Cincinnati at San Francisco, probably one of the better games of the week. And yeah, I'm very happy that my pick came through. Actually, I'm actually completely tickled pink about it because it wasn't even close. Initially it was, and you kind of think the Bengals had many opportunities to put the game away earlier. Mm-hmm. And they miss a field goal, fumble, turn it over on downs, I think. Actually, no, I'm not sure they did that, but there are many opportunities where they could have gone up 21-7, 21-10, and they didn't. But still, though, eventually, the floodgates broke through and they completely, ended things for the Niners. Now, everyone's dogging on Brock Purdy. I really do like Brock Purdy. Like, if it wasn't Joe Burrow, I'd like Brock Purdy the most, I think, just because he's the ultimate underdog of all time.
Yeah.
The one, I'm not sure if you saw, his first interception was in the red zone. He's, rolling to his right, mm-hmm. and this guy, the defender, I think it was Pratt, is, 3 feet away from him. Brock Purdy, just throw the ball away, dude. Instead, he tries to throw it inward, and the guy's right there, and the guy just kind of reaches up and grabs it. It's probably guys' reaction time are that good. They're gonna catch that ball. Just throw it away, man. I feel like the mistakes he's making mm-hmm. are so easily avoidable and could have kept them in the game. And so he's got to, if he's going to always have this narrative, he's always going to be battling the fact that he was the last pick. He's not supposed to be any good.
Yeah.
And so I get thrown some picks, some contested catches, that's fine. You can't throw this pick, though. This was a bad one.
Yeah, it's probably just one of those things that comes with more experience for him. Once he gathers another year or two in the NFL, he's going to get smarter about
I'm not even sure if he's
going
to get to that point because, he's going to be battling this narrative. They got Sam Darnold in the wing, and he ain't that bad either. They're going to want to test him out. I honestly thought they might have tested him out this week because Brock Purdy had the whole concussion thing going on. He did get cleared. He did play, but they had an opportunity there where they could have
mm-hmm.
maybe even just started Sam Darnold without really damaging Brock Purdy's confidence or without making a big fuss about it, just to see how another quarterback fares in the system.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we do need to see that in order to kind of put one of these, narratives to rest. Like, is Brock Purdy just, a product of San Fran's system like Jimmy G was? Well, let's play Sam Darnold and find out, So I'm sure the time will come. Like, I guarantee there will be a point where Sam Darnold plays. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a good call. And you kind of predicted it a few weeks back when you said that Brock Purdy is bound to start making, like, a few mistakes here.
It's a law of averages, dude.
Yeah.
You can't go out, throw 4 touchdowns against the Cowboys, one of the best defenses in the NFL, and continue to play that way. Like, I'm sorry, you just can't. I mean, it happens for everyone. Patrick Mahomes, you have a great year, and then you start throwing 2 picks to the Broncos and only putting 9 points and getting shot in the second half. Like, it's just a law of averages. Just shit happens, So I think they're fine, though. This was a really tough stretch of games. I think, they should have won the Cleveland one if Jake Moody doesn't miss a couple field goals.
Right.
And, now they got a bye, and then they got Jacksonville. So it doesn't really get any easier, but I do think they will beat Jacksonville coming off of that bye.
Right.
What do you think about this game? I'm sorry I kind of hogged the mic there.
No, yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to add. I didn't even watch this one. But, yeah, I was at a spooky Halloween party. So
dude, I wish. This was one I was very happy was televised because obviously, there are 2 games televised, at least in our region. I know you have Red Zone, you have the Sunday ticket. But
I do, yeah, but I couldn't even watch it on Sunday, unfortunately.
You're so busy.
Dude, this party was just wild. I was like...
God, you're making me jealous.
Yeah, dude, I was walking around in my Sorcerers hat, just getting a little...
Shit, dude, I almost wore it today. We're filming this on Halloween, of course.
Yeah.
Uploading it on Dia de los Muertos, November 1st. But, yeah, no. I mean, Halloween party, you got to take that over the games.
Of course.
I mean, it's just NFL. Like, there's only a couple good games a week these days. Baltimore at Arizona ended up being one of those better games because of the onside kick or whatever. It's kind of weird, though. Baltimore, I knew they would. I picked Arizona to cover the spread just because Baltimore's on the road coming off of a humongous win. They
hardly did that, bro.
I know.
That was a garbage time field goal that Arizona got to cover that spread.
But it covered. It worked.
You got lucky with that one, bro.
Sometimes you have to get lucky. But yeah, Baltimore, I mean, Lamar Jackson did not have a humongous game. It was Gus Edwards' time to shine.
Again, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thankfully, thank God for him.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not sure they win this game. If Josh Dobbs doesn't turn the ball over a whole bunch, I'm not sure they win this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Josh Dobbs. He's such a great story. And he ends up being like one of the most productive quarterbacks over the stretch in the league. Like I started him in one of my leagues because I'm very QB scant, and he put up 31 for me. So thank you, Josh.
Good week for
Hopefully
Josh.
we can continue having fun on the Vikings in a couple weeks here once you learn the playbook over there. But yeah, throwaway game.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we skipped Kansas City, Denver. Do we want to do that one?
Oh,
shocking
that game.
Upset.
Yeah, no, I mean,
not much to add. Just where does that come from? Russell wins over Mahomes.
It's a combination of a few things. Like Kansas City's receivers finally getting a little bit more exposed. I mean, they've been showing holes all year.
Yeah.
Whether it be in the Jets game, whether it be in the Lions game, where we completely forgot about Kadarius Toney's absolutely horrendous performance. And this one, you got Sky Moore. Yeah, I mean, that's another factor. I don't think it fully explains everything.
Yeah.
Denver does have a really good defense. Besides that one day where they, put up 70 or they let up 70, still think they're pretty solid. I mean, they were really good last year, and the offense just did what they needed to do. Russell Wilson's just like, I'm just gonna go out and throw a couple little baby touchdowns and not throw for a ton of yards and just beat one of the best teams in the league. I mean, it was bound to happen. This is another one of those things. Like, I think Mahomes never lost to the Broncos. Kansas City as a team had beaten them like 10 or more times.
I think it was 16, right?
16, that's absurd.
Straight.
I mean, you just can't go that long.
Yeah, that's like 8 years, right?
I mean, yes.
Something like that.
That is 8 years. And now you got Sean Payton, though, at head coach, Hall of Fame coach. He's going to find a way to beat you at least one time.
Yeah.
Chicago at the Chargers. Unfortunately, yeah. See, this is the thing. I'm telling you, college football is the better version of football right now just because there's so many games. There's a better chance of having good games. With the NFL, you only got 16. There's only like 2 or 3 good games. It's been a little bit disappointing, I would say. I mean, you look at the slate of games, especially the primetime ones. They're just not great. They're not great at all. Like, none of the primetime games I thought this week were good at all. And that obviously has to do largely in terms of some injuries. You thought Justin Fields would play in this game. Tyson Badgett, another great story. But did you watch this game?
Yes.
First play, 41-yarder to
yeah.
Darnell Mooney. He's not down. He was never touched. And they blow the play dead. No, dude.
I missed that part of it, bro. They made a deal.
Like, it was funny. Like, nothing happens. And then the announcers, like, probably like 10, 15 minutes later, they're like, wait a second. And then they like kind of talk about it again. They bring in like Dean Blandino or whoever the guy is who knows all the officiating.
Yeah.
They look at, he was never touched.
Wow.
So he could have ran for at least, another like 30 yards.
I did not even realize that, bro.
I mean, that changes the whole complexity of the game,
100%.
in my opinion. So really, the officiating in that game was pretty bad. Another part to it was that Tyson Badgett threw a humongo pass. Chicago receiver, who I don't really even know the name of because he's so unknown, but you don't want this. Like if you're this receiver for the Bears, you're not sleeping for another week. I mean, you gotta see this. Did you see he drops in the end zone? He ends up on his back. I mean, he had multiple opportunities to catch this ball. I mean, he's going up. He kind of like bobbles it. Now he's on the ground, and it's still like kind of bouncing around his stomach. You think like he could still get it because there ain't nobody near him. There is no Chargers near him, and he still can't make the play. Now they did get a touchdown on that drive, barely. But again, moments like that, like I'm not saying they would have won the game, but like there are multiple moments that really screwed over the Bears in this game. Yeah, especially if you took them to cover like me.
Yeah, I mean, they just started off that game in a way that they don't normally start. Like, the Bears never start off throwing a pass normally. It's always just a run.
I audibly was like, oh, my God. Like, I can't believe it.
And then he caught it, too, and I was even more shocked.
Yeah, and it should have gone for at least another 30 yards, maybe even a touchdown. And they blew it dead. Like, it's highly disappointing, infuriating.
Yeah.
Some of the officiating has been bad this year.
Yeah, I agree. But on the bright side, or maybe not the bright side for you, because I know you don't like Brandon Staley, but you said that if the Chargers lost this game, they're firing Staley. Yeah. But I guess he'll live to see another game in the NFL. He will live to see
another day, yeah, for sure. Yeah, this was a must-win game for him. Next week, or this upcoming week, is not a must-win for him, so I think if he loses, he'll still be okay. Yeah. It's good to see Justin Herbert bounce back and have a good game, although there should have been another pick. There was a time one of the Bears defenders just kind of dropped one. Yeah. But yeah, good game for him. Monday Night Football, Vegas at Detroit. Goofy-ass game. Detroit was trying to give this one away between drops, a missed field goal, fumbles, pick six from Jared Goff. They wanted to lose this game, it looked like. And Vegas just could not capitalize on the many opportunities they were given.
Jimmy G looked terrible.
Dude, I know, and I like him too. I like him a lot, and yet you can't play like this. You're going to get yourself benched. I don't know. I don't think he will because the other quarterbacks are even worse. But, like, Scrivante was wide open on a play in the fourth quarter down the left sideline. And Jimmy knew it. He just overthrew him. He threw it right there, just overthrow him.
Well, if this NFL thing doesn't work out for him, I'm sure he'll get a job as a model.
Yeah, he is quite attractive. It does look like he might be graying in the beard, maybe.
A little bit?
A little bit. It's possible.
Everyone loves a little bit of a gray.
Yeah. Adds a little bit of, like, sparks, a little bit of gravel.
Yeah.
Another thing, though, Devontae Adams getting mad, but he dropped a third down conversion. Or I think it was maybe it would have been a second down, but they missed the third down, so basically third down.
He's probably just pissed to be on this team at this point. Like, he had a lot of success on Green Bay with Aaron. Yeah. And then he had, at least more success last year with Carr than he's had.
He had a great year last year.
Yeah,
but I love seeing him get mad, though. I remember last year, like, he threw his helmet, then he pushed the cameraman. I want to see some more angry Devontae. But, no, you can't. Like, I know Jimmy G overthrows you, but you dropped an easy pass, and you actually almost bobbled into a pick. It's like he was playing hot potato with the ball. It's like at one point you just got to acknowledge in that like quarter of a second, I dropped it. I'm not going to pick it up. I need to stop bobbling it. Yeah. So I don't, he literally almost bobbled into a pick. Yeah. It was a little, just let the ball drop. Just let the ball drop. Because it was in their territory deep. So mistakes on both ends there. You can't blame it all on Jimmy G. Even though, he certainly didn't have a good game. All right, week 8 start and sits. You had a pretty good week on this front.
Yeah, I finally got a few right here. So
I told you not to sit T. Higgins, though.
that wasn't like the worst pick. Like he still only had single-digit points in a half PPR league, but he did like have like 60 yards. I think it was like 64 yards and 6 catches. I think
Something
for
like that.
9.4 points. So like PPR league, he put up 15 for you, but half PPR or not 15. I guess it would be 12.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
in like a half PPR league, he's still in single digits. So I'll give it like an X. Like I don't think that
I
it
would
was
put
the
a
best.
yellow one. I mean,
Yeah.
actually, yeah. I understand.
Yeah, so I mean, it
But
could
like
have been.
you know me, I'm very generous. Like you put up
Yeah.
5 points for me on my fantasy team, like I'm okay with that. I just don't like goose eggs.
Yeah, that's fair. But then I said to start Kareem Hunt and Kendrick Bourne. Both of them, I believe, had a touchdown this week, right? I think Kareem had one.
Yes. Oh yeah. Kareem's been very good.
Yeah.
If I'm Kareem Hunt, I'm like, you got to be paying me some good money because
Yeah.
you let me go, and now you're calling back to daddy, and look at what I'm doing for you.
Yeah, I mean, he seems
So-
like he's more talented than Jerome and getting it just as much action as him. He knows their offense better, so
Jerome Ford play against Notre Dame too, I believe.
no way.
I need to look. I have like a little sheet that I keep track of this
Dude,
in,
that's
but
so cool.
I'll have to show it to you later. But yeah, no, I think Jerome is like a pretty good back still. Kareem's just a little bit better in the red zone.
Yeah, I mean, I also just think that he knows the Browns better
Yeah,
than Jerome
yeah,
does.
for sure. On the running back front, Alexander Madison starting him. Oh my God. I mean, Green Bay really put a stop to the Vikings' run attack. I know Cam Akers got a touchdown, but man, they were running the ball for like 1.8 yards per average. It was bad. Alexander Madison got more carries, I think, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely wise to sit him, so don't listen to me on that one. But seeing James Cook ended up being a decent
pick.
play. Still not amazing, though. Like, he still, put up some points. Like, T. Higgins put up some points.
Mm-hmm.
So, just
I'll
kind of
still
depends
give you
on-
the
Yeah,
check
well, I
on that. It was
appreciate
like
that.
7 points I think he had, and he's
Yeah.
splitting a lot of time with Latavius Murray now. And
Yeah, he just
I don't-
didn't get as many receptions as he usually does, which is what limited his points.
yeah, I'm not a fan of James Cook on fantasy teams, to be honest. He doesn't have a whole lot of upside, in my opinion.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have him on one of my teams.
Mm.
Our best bets. You want to start?
Yeah, I'll start with with my failures here.
I tried to warn you about the Rams.
You did, yeah. I know you called this. We already talked about this. Bad pick on the Rams money line. Atlanta and Tennessee. I thought it was going to be 2 bozo teams.
Yeah, I bet on that one too. I bet on the under, but
I mean,
Will
that's
Levis was
soared
just like, nah,
over, bro. 4 tuds. Like, Will Levis nearly brought his team over 37 himself.
Dude. Yeah, I can't believe it.
But Minnesota at almost plus money was a good bet.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Like, I really just can't believe that Vegas had that so low. But it was one of those where it's like, well, we couldn't believe that Green Bay was not favored against
Yeah.
Atlanta earlier in the year, and Atlanta ends up winning. But
Probably
this is
one of those division rivalries, Green Bay at home sort of games. That's why they were favored.
Yeah, no, absolutely, you're right. Now, I had a pretty good week, I would say. Of course,
sir.
Cincinnati could have just taken the money line, but I'm a little bit of a pussy, so I just went 5.5 on the spread. Chicago, 8.5. I think I actually got up to 9.5 at one point, but they didn't even come close to covering. But like I mentioned, a couple of plays here and there, they could have easily done that. Tennessee, even though I picked Atlanta to win, I like Tennessee +2 because they're at home. That cashed. New Orleans +1, easily cashed. Had a lot of wiggle room there. And my college picks were pretty solid. I think I went 6 for 10 here. Florida obviously was one of my favorites of the week, and that didn't even come close. 14.5. They needed way more than that. They needed like 23 against Georgia. Just disappointing. I did misspeak in my short. Florida wasn't actually at home. They were in the state of Florida, but it was a neutral site game.
Was it really?
It
That
was.
probably influenced our pick.
Yeah, that was really upsetting because the Swamp, Florida's home stadium, is not a fun place for opponents to play.
Yeah.
Even though it was still in Florida, it was a neutral site, so that one kind of boned me. Colorado, thank goodness gracious, they covered. I was watching the end of this game. Thankfully, they covered +17 on a late score. Kentucky +3.5. I thought they might even win this game. And it was kind of a close battle. I was watching some of this game, but Tennessee pulled away, and Kentucky just couldn't keep up with Tennessee. Good game, though. BYU +17.5 is one of the head scratchers. It actually got bet all the way to 20, and they still didn't even cover. But if you look at the box score of this game, BYU had, like, if you look at the box score, you would think it would have been a closer game. Like, Texas turned the ball over. BYU just couldn't cash in on any of their opportunities. They had so many opportunities to put some points on the board. Like, it's actually incredible that they only scored, 6 points.
Yeah.
Highly disappointing, but I think the thought process still was there. Oregon -7 at Utah. I got a little nervous about this pick as the week went on, but fortunately it did cash easily. Oregon won 35-6. Old Dominion, I love this pick. I spotted this one immediately. I actually bet on their money line just because of the value, and they only lost by 3 points. So I am very happy about that, and they easily covered that 17.5 point spread. Virginia Tech, my new favorite team, -3, easily covered. I think it was on Thursday or Friday against Syracuse. Rice also covered 11.5.
It didn't look like they were going to. Then they emerged after halftime. And
I knew though because Tulane was up big on North Texas the previous week, and then in the last couple quarters they gave up a ton of points. So once they get up, they just kind of give up. They get up and then they give up. Penn State -32. They almost lost this game. This one didn't even come close. I don't know. Penn State's looking a little scary to me. I'm not really sure what's going on there. I think they're going to get absolutely rolled when they play Michigan. And then under 43.5, Mississippi State at Auburn definitely hit. I think you bet this one. We're talking about it.
I did. This one got so close, though. Dude, I was sweating it at the end. Did you watch the game at all?
No. This is a raccoon game in terms of college football.
Dude, I was just watching the updates on my phone, and so I think that I had the line. It had moved down to under 40.5, maybe.
Yeah, it moved down for sure. I'm just surprised that Auburn's quarterback actually had a good game. I know we were talking about in one of my shorts, Auburn has a major QB problem. Peyton Thorne, their quarterback, played well in this game, so you can't really say that anymore. But Mississippi State is just that bad. So, yeah, I'm glad I ended up cashing. I'm glad that I got it early at 43.5, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. I think that at the end of it was at the end of the fourth quarter, and who won this game? I forgot.
Auburn won.
Auburn won.
Easily,
okay, so Mississippi State had the ball. I'm sorry, Red's dog's going nuts over here.
Sorry, guys.
So Mississippi State had the ball. It was, I think they were on the 15-yard line. They were about to score a touchdown. It was 4th and 8, and they convert it. And I'm tweaking. I'm oh my God, they're going to score a touchdown.
Yes, I did see this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they converted that because if they kick the field goal.
Right. Yeah. And so then they get it down to this the 7, and then they go 3 down straight, and they get to 4th down again, and then they don't pick it up, and then Auburn gets the ball back, and then they just jack around. They don't score or anything like that.
That was the only situation that was going to cash.
Yeah, I know.
If they convert one of the 4th downs, but not the second one.
Yeah.
So lucky. All right, that was a lot of time. Week 9, let's go. Not looking like a great slate. We're starting off with another just wonderful primetime game. Tennessee at Pittsburgh.
I don't even know if I can create a short for this one, dude. I don't like betting on the bozo teams, and this would qualify.
I mean, it's just, it's going to be hard to bet on this one because, you got Will Levis at quarterback, got Mitch Trubisky at quarterback. I don't trust either of those guys. No. I know Will Levis played well. I just don't think it's sustainable. I am going to take Pittsburgh, though, because good defenses against young quarterbacks tend to have the upper hand.
Yeah, I'm also going to take Pittsburgh. It's just similar to you. I think there's too many uncertainties with Tennessee at the moment and Will Levis. Plus, Tennessee doesn't seem to play the best when they're away.
Yeah. And they've struggled against Pittsburgh recently over the last few years.
Yeah, so I think we're just going to take Pittsburgh here.
Good stuff. Miami at Kansas City in Germany. Tough pick for me for sure, but neutral field, I am going to take Miami here. I think it's going to be really nice conditions. If it was in Kansas City, it's getting a little colder. Weather's not getting so nice. I might take Kansas City, but it's going to be in an enclosed dome, I believe, at, I forgot the name of their stadium. But, yeah, it's in Germany, so I think it might be in Frankfurt, Germany. Miami at Kansas City, definitely taking Miami because it's not really Miami at Kansas City.
So I'm a little surprised by your pick here. I am going to take Kansas City. After their tough loss last week, I think they'll bounce back and they'll play well.
But, I mean, it's very possible. I really can't imagine Kansas City losing 2 in a row ever.
But you had mentioned like a few weeks back that like Miami hasn't faced many good teams this season, and when they do, they lose. And
they haven't been a winning team in over 400 days.
So I'm really surprised at your pick then.
I know, dude. I'm bipolar like that.
All right.
What can I say?
Gonna swim with the Dolphins this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen a dolphin in Germany?
No.
Those Germans are going to be going nuts, dude.
Holy cow.
Yeah, the waters are cold up there. Whales and seals.
Maybe even a narwhal spotting.
No, yeah, narwhal would be fun. That's probably what they name their teams up there.
Dude, probably. the Nordic narwhals.
Yeah, the Warsaw narwhals. I know it's in Poland, but it's close enough.
I like that.
Chicago at New Orleans. New Orleans got to win this game. I think it's Tyson Bagent, but I freaking hate, man. They keep taking Justin Fields off the IR, so now I have to remove him from my IR spot on the fantasy team so I could pick up someone else, just so I have to put him back in the IR.
Yeah.
And then I lose. Like, I had to drop like a good player this week because of that. So stop doing that. We know he's not going to play.
Yeah.
It's going to be Tyson Bagent again. Stop pissing me off.
Yeah, I mean,
medical staff team,
there's
whatever.
no way that Fields' hand is going to be ready to throw the ball.
I mean, he can't even stroke it. So
no, absolutely not. Maybe he's doing the left-handed stroke.
No, that's right. You did tell me about that. Yeah. I still have yet to try it.
Okay.
Anyways, back to the ball. Yeah, Chicago at New Orleans. You're taking New Orleans here, right?
Oh yeah, I am gonna take New Orleans. Yeah, I don't trust Bagent.
No. Especially at New Orleans. Rams at Green Bay. Of course, Stafford's out. We don't know who's really starting for quarterback at LA. I think it is going to be though.
Ripien.
Yeah,
Ripien.
Yes, it's gonna be Ripien, not Bryce Perkins. Unfortunately, I mean it's just a bad game at this point. I'm gonna take Jordan Love at home. I guess I don't feel good about it, but I guess I'm going to take him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams won this game because Sean McVay is kind of a wizard. So you never know.
Yeah, I would definitely be picking the Rams if Stafford was playing.
Oh, yeah.
Green Bay looks really bad, but they are playing at Lambeau. And without Stafford, I mean, Ripien didn't do anything for the Rams offense last week after Stafford went out.
He's competent, though. Like, I've seen him play decently.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to put my trust in him right now, so I'll take Green Bay at home this week.
It could be bad weather, too.
Yeah.
Washington at New England. I'm kind of surprised. I thought you were going to take Washington here.
I think I had them originally.
I think you did.
I did have Washington originally, and then I just thought about it a little bit more, and I mean, New England played well against the Bills.
Yeah.
And they at least did a little bit against Miami. Like, they're not great.
The thing for me is they're at home, and Bill Belichick just absolutely harasses young quarterbacks. Yeah. And Sam Howell is that gazelle who is just, very naive. He's just chilling the field right now. And Bill Belichick, the Lions, about to come up on him and just absolutely feast on them. I mean, that's just what he does to young quarterbacks. If you think back to Justin Herbert's first year as a Charger, he's going nuts. He's having a historic year for a rookie. He goes into New England and just gets absolutely panda-quaked by Bill Belichick. I mean, that's just what he does to these young quarterbacks. And we know Sam Howell is spotty as it is.
Yeah. It could be another 4-touchdown week, or it could be a little 1-touchdown, 3-interception week.
He's going to have picks in this game, I'll tell you that. Seattle at Baltimore. This is, a decent game, I would say.
I think this one will actually be good, dude.
Bird v. Bird.
I could see, we love the Bird v. Bird.
Oh, yeah.
I could see this one going into overtime.
Ooh.
A sneaky overtime pick.
I bet, that's definitely in plus money right there.
Yeah. Dude, that's probably like plus like 5,000. It's so hard to predict when a game's going to go into overtime.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so random.
Yeah.
It's impossible to predict. Definitely going to take Baltimore here at home. Seattle's traveling across the country. And, of course, as we already found out, when the Ravens played Detroit, Lamar Jackson 16-1 against NFC teams.
Yeah, Lamar's getting the job done here, and so is Gus.
Gus Edwards, yeah, I would hope so. I'm going to have to start him on one of my fantasy teams, so I hope so.
Yeah, you're going to chomp on those birds.
Tampa Bay at Houston. I'm done with Houston. You got me convinced for a little bit there, but I ain't doing it no more. Tampa Bay coming off some extra rest from the Thursday game. I know it's in Houston, but it's not that far away from Tampa Bay. Houston doesn't really have that big of a home field advantage right now. And I just like Baker Mayfield and the offensive talent they have there to bounce back. And Tampa Bay's defense, not that bad, could harass C.J. Stroud a little bit.
That's a good pick. It's honestly, I think that's a smart pick here. I just didn't want to hop off the Texans yet. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
think
gonna
you pick them
again.
every week except for like the first 2 weeks.
I think so, yeah. So this is honestly just like a jocular pick, honestly, because I think Tampa will probably win this game, but I don't want to hop off my ride, dude. That's just been such a lovely, excellent ride.
Yeah, I mean, I could still see Houston winning. One of the guys I watch has picked Houston as well, so it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
Arizona at Cleveland. I think we can all guess on this one. I mean, it's obviously Cleveland. If Arizona were to win this game, I'd be absolutely appalled. Just think they're starting Clay and Tune, I believe. I don't think they're starting Kyler Murray yet.
No.
They've already dealed Josh Dobbs away. It's in Cleveland. It's going to be bad weather. What I like here, though, is the under.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick, dude. I mean, Arizona got a crappy offense, Cleveland bad defense.
I just don't think Arizona scores in this game.
Yeah, they could have put up a goose egg, yeah.
So, yeah. Easiest game of the week right there. That's your Survivor League pick, I'd say, if you're still alive in it.
Yeah, I like that pick. Yeah, also taking Cleveland for me.
This game's a little bit peculiar for me. I'm really struggling to pick it. Indianapolis at Carolina. I really want to pick Carolina, but I'm not going to be overreactionary to their win against Houston. That wasn't even that impressive.
Yeah, it was a fluky win. I mean, last-second field goal.
I'm going to take the better offense here. Obviously, the worse defense, but I think Indianapolis will just be able to outpace. I think this actually could be a really good game, though. I'm going to take Gardner Minshew. I think he actually has a really clean game here against the Panthers.
How do we feel about the over in this game?
What's it at, you know?
I do not know. It's probably like 43.
Let's take a little gander here. Why don't you talk about something so it's not dead space while I look this up?
Yeah, I mean, I think that both teams don't really have the best defense, and I could see there being a lot of scoring action going on.
So what's your official guess on the over?
I would say 43.
It's 44.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do like the over. Let's see what the public thinks. The public, 70% of the public loves the over, which has moved down the line from 45.5 to 44.
Oh, don't love that. That means that you should go under. If it's going from 45 to 44, Vegas is encouraging you to take the over, which means that you should be taking the under in this game. So we will be sure to talk about this next week, see if this game does go under. I do, my initial reaction would be that it's going over, but hearing that thought, that would make me want to bet the under.
I just can't believe 67% of the public is taking Indianapolis and the spread. 92% is taking the money line.
What's the spread?
2.5.
They're favored?
Yeah, Indianapolis is favored by 2.5. 67% of the people are betting on them to cover that.
It's probably because Carolina only has one win on
there's a lot of value in the money line for Carolina. If 92% of the people are betting on Indianapolis, that's bet up to minus 160. Carolina is then now plus 135. Only 8% of the entire human race thinks that is worth it. I think if I'm a betting man, I might take that just for the value.
That's a good pick.
Maybe let it get a little bit larger as the week goes on.
Yeah.
Giants at Vegas. See, this is why college football is just better. I mean, look at all these games. We've had 4 games in a row right now that just are bad.
Thankfully, these ones aren't the prime time ones. We actually have a decent Sunday night game.
Oh, my God. Yeah, the Sunday night game is going to be so good.
Very emotional game.
Yeah, I mean, are you thinking?
Damar Hamlin.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Unfortunately, Damar has not really played at all this year.
Yeah, week 1, and then that was it.
Yeah, I mean, as fun of a story as it is, he's a backup. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. I mean, he was playing, I think, in replacement of Jordan Poyer last year. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, he is not really.
But at least, he came back, and he still played in another game after the injury.
And he will still play more. He will be out there again.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm happy for the guy for sure. It's funny. This is a very odd change of subject, but did you know a hockey player in the Canadian League died on October 28th from a slash of the blade to his throat?
No way.
It was bad, dude.
How did that happen?
I got shaken up just hearing about this because I'm imagining it, and he skated over to the sidelines as he's bleeding out, and it looked dirty, man. It looked dirty.
Dude.
This hockey player who slashed him, he's got a history. He's been suspended for 71 games. He leads the league in most penalty minutes. He's a scary little mug.
I can't imagine how this guy must be feeling right now. I mean,
you think, he should be feeling bad, but he's got a history of this, and it just looked like like, I don't know. The skates just, it didn't look like a natural, like, oh, stumble. It's just more of like a, I'm just trying to hurt you type of thing.
That's
So
absurd.
he might
dude.
get charged for manslaughter for that.
Wow.
But my whole point is, like, these sports are dangerous as hell.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Dude, that is wow. I'm like shook up over that as well.
I mean,
cannot
it's
believe that.
It's like, it's scary. I mean, this guy played in the NHL at one point too.
Wow.
Anyway, if we can possibly move off from that, I'm taking Vegas in this game, I guess. Their defense looked pretty good, I would say, against the Lions, all things considered.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I'm just going to take the Giants just because I did not like what I saw out of Vegas in terms of their offense. Jimmy G looked absolutely incompetent on offense.
Yeah.
I mean, they did nothing.
I think this is what happens to Devontae and Jimmy. They have like some sort of little get up where they go up to the woods, you know. I mean, there are no woods in Vegas. They go up to a little mountaintop and they spend the night together. They have a little picnic,
A little rendezvous together.
and they get on the same page. Yeah, they have
Wow.
a rendezvous. They get back on the same page.
That would
Devontae
be-
has an absolutely giga game. Darren Waller tries to get revenge, but Devontae just is like, nah, dude, I'm going to put up about 100 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns in this game.
That would be very nice if you were able to predict that because he's only done that once this season. One really strong game like that.
This is a big game for Vegas right here, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Next up, especially after, I mean, we know what's going on with Giants. Is Daniel Jones coming back? Are they just going to run the triple option because they don't even believe in this DeVito kid? Who knows? But here's another really good game that should be either Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, or I don't know. I mean, this is obviously, it's still going to be like,
It's
I guess,
probably gonna be
America's
the
game of the week. But
yeah.
like Dallas at Philadelphia. So
Whew.
exciting here. I think, didn't you? Oh, no, you had Philadelphia the whole time.
Yeah.
I was thinking about changing to Dallas, but I just can't do it. I think Dallas might win when it's in Dallas, but definitely not in Philadelphia. I love the over in this game because Philly's defense has not been great, and Dallas's defense is not good enough to stop a prolific Philly offensive attack. I think I have it in one of my bets. We'll get to it. But yeah, I like Philly in this game.
That's an interesting pick, though, because I think 80% of the public was betting the over as well.
Oh, really?
I believe so when I looked
That
it up
always
on
scares
CBS.
me, dude.
Yeah.
That always scares me, but I
Yeah.
still like it. Unless, it gets bet up. I like it right now at 46. I mean, I think one of these teams gets up and I think Philadelphia scores 38 and Dallas is at like 24.
Yeah, this could be a high-scoring game, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a blowout, but
Yeah,
I do
38-24.
think Philadelphia is going to kind of take care of business here. We've seen Dallas not been great.
But you think Dallas wins this game if they're at home?
No.
No,
Oh, yeah,
if they're
yes,
at
yes.
Okay.
If they're at home, I think Dallas wins this game. I mean, we'll get to it. Obviously it's not for a while. But yeah, right now, right here, Philadelphia wins this game.
Got it. Yeah, I got the same pick as you. I think that, I just think Philly will take care of business here. They are going to grow their lead to, 7-1 or 8-1?
8-1, and then it would almost, basically take the division out of
Yeah.
contest for Dallas unless something drastic happens to
Mhm.
Philadelphia because they would have 2 less losses and the head-to-head already.
Yeah.
Buffalo at Cincinnati. What a great matchup here. I'm going to take Cincinnati. Buffalo has not looked great, especially against decent teams. And I think Cincinnati is just really coming alive right now. I mean, they're playing really good. They have that momentum. Even though they're coming off of a big win, which scares me. Buffalo's had a few extra days of rest. Scares me. But I think, we saw how the game was going last year, and we saw them in the playoffs. I mean, does Cincinnati really just dominate Buffalo? Like, do they? I don't know, man. This is definitely like a tough one for me to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't see like teams ever dominate one good team that long. Like we've seen Cincinnati dominate Kansas City 3 times in a row, and then they lose to them in the AFC Championship game last year. We see Tennessee go into Baltimore, the number 1 seed in 2020, beat them in the regular season the following year, and then now start losing. So it's like these like good, decent teams. They just can't stay dominant over, the other one for that long. So I could see Buffalo winning this game for sure, if you guys know what I'm saying. But yeah, Cincinnati's my official pick.
Okay, fair enough. I think that Buffalo might just come up and do it for tomorrow. More of like an emotional victory.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I hadn't factored that in.
Yeah.
Do you think they let DeMar out? They let him play a little bit?
I don't know. I don't think he'll actually play, but I feel like So was it last year? Was it on a Sunday night or a Monday night that this happened?
I believe it was Sunday night.
So this could be like the exact repeat of that sort of game.
Yeah, I remember I was watching that game. It was like in January. I think it was like early January. It was nuts. I remember. I've never seen anything like it. But
yeah,
they did do a few things like that in the preseason. I'm not sure if you remember this preseason. Some games, I think 2 games got called off because of injuries.
No way.
Mid-game.
Oh, I did not know that. Well, hopefully nothing like that happens again.
That's a fluke thing. I don't think it'll ever happen again.
Yeah, but I'm going to take Buffalo for this one. I think this will be like one of the best games on the slate for this week, though.
You take the over in this game or no?
I believe so. I think that's my best bet. Yeah, I am
really?
taking the over this week, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think this will be a high-scoring one. Buffalo's defense isn't the best. And
yeah, I agree. Chargers at Jets. I'm really surprised you're taking the Jets here after how bad they looked. I know they have a good defense, but I think the Chargers are starting to come alive here. I know I don't like Brandon Staley, but I know when they can win a game.
This is more of just like, I think they're going to keep winning for Aaron Rodgers to keep them in playoff contention. They just want to.
Good story.
Dude, it's like, it's so awesome for the script writers
it is.
Of the NFL to like have the Jets like actually be in playoff contention.
Dude,
so that Rodgers can come back.
The audience who's good enough to fall for it the entire season. Then
maybe that's
be like,
me.
oh, yep, he actually can't come back because he is like he could re-injure it.
Well, maybe I'm being gullible here, but I think that the Jets are going to pull off with a sneaky win like they did against the Eagles.
I just can't imagine them going like basically 5-3 with Zach Wilson. I don't see Zach Wilson outdueling Justin Herbert in this game.
I mean, but like, did you see Zach Wilson outdoing Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point.
Yeah,
I mean, that was all
like,
of the defense. So, I mean, I guess it could happen again. I just don't think so. Even though it's at home, I just don't see it. I think the Chargers really getting some momentum going. Austin Eckler. Do you know actually Austin Eckler had a horrible game on the ground against the Bears? I mean, he really did. He
always has a bad game on the ground. I feel like he's like gets like 30 rushing yards, but then like 100 receiving yards.
I know he really is a receiving back.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you have it. Denver, Detroit, San Fran, and Jacksonville are on bye. Kind of interesting. San Fran and Jacksonville then play each other the following week. Lots of time to prepare for that game. We'll see who comes out on top. Starts and sits this week. Got a lot of Viking receiver action. Ex-Viking receiver Adam Thielen. I am definitely starting because the Colts defense is horrible. While I am boldly saying to sit Jordan Addison, you have no idea what's going on at quarterback for the Vikings. They're going to start this Jaron Warren. I'm not even sure what his name is, but BYU rookie quarterback, 5th-round pick, I believe it is. And then maybe mix in Josh Dobbs. I just don't see it happening against a good Atlanta secondary that I know they got torched by another rookie quarterback. I just don't see that happening again. Law of averages, you guys know I love that. Who are you starting and sitting this week?
I like your picks, bro. And
Thank
I
you.
kind of have the same sort of mentality that you've got here. Yeah, well, Josh Downs isn't really a bold pick. He's just kind of been consistently producing, almost like in
he's great.
Kendrick Bourne type of fashion where he puts up some decent numbers every week. And
I'm going to say this again, but Josh Dobbs played Notre Dame twice.
Ooh.
He was on North Carolina.
Josh Downs did?
Downs, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow. That is wild, dude.
Just a couple, so last year and the year before.
Wow. All right, well, we are taking him this week to start against the a team that Carolina that I think
I like that.
I mean, Colts have been putting up some good points every week, so I think he might have a touchdown here. And then this might be the boldest take of all time.
That is absurdity.
Sitting Cooper Kupp is egregious.
You sit Puka too?
I mean,
you
probably.
You sat Puka last week, didn't you?
Yeah, I sat Puka, I think 2 weeks ago. Or maybe it was last week. One of the two.
Whatever.
Yeah, but like, all right, so first of all, Stafford is gone now.
Bye-bye.
Cooper hasn't even produced the last 2 weeks with Stafford in.
Yeah.
I don't like him to do anything this week, and then they're going to go out on a bye. So I just feel like this week is a scratch for just drop them. Yeah,
just drop them.
Yeah, I think that Kupp is just gonna like hit the snooze button this week, and then he's gonna take a week off from the bye, and then he's going to reemerge like week 11 as a newly washed a newly washed dish, like a new cup.
Oh my goodness!
Like a fresh cup to drink water out of
from there on out.
Yeah, like a little tsunami. Yeah, so I think he reemerges as a wide receiver 1 in week 11. But this is going to be like the boldest take of all time is sit Cooper Kupp.
I don't love it, but I mean, I can't argue with it because it's the same rationale for why I'm seeing Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
But I just think that Brett Rippon's a lot more capable than whoever, this Jaron Warren or whatever his name is for the Vikings. And if you're Brett Rippon, you want to go down swinging. And you're like, if I'm going to throw picks, at least I'm going to be throwing picks targeting Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp just hasn't, he's not been pulling anything in. I need to watch some of the tape on that.
Yeah.
Surely it's not all his fault. Probably not really his fault at all. But, I mean, I look and I see he's like targeted 11 times. He's only caught 3 of them.
Right.
Definitely raises a little bit of a red flag there.
Yeah.
But let's move on to our best bets for the week. Let's see what you got here. See if we can make any money this week.
I feel like I kind of touched on them a little bit already, but we're going to roll with the Jets money line at positive odds here, plus 138 for the Jets over the Chargers. I know you don't really agree with that pick, but I just...
It's good value.
Yeah, we just like... I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have a chance to come back this year.
I love that he's on the sideline with the headset. I mean, I just love that.
Calling
plays. It really is, garnered some respect on my part for him because I really never would have anticipated him being so involved in the team. I really don't remember him doing anything like that, anything of the sort when he was with Green Bay for his entire career. So
right, yeah, but I think that he's going to be involved this week, and I think that the Jets are going to have a sneaky little win here against the Chargers. Second, got Buffalo money line, again positive odds against Cincinnati.
Yeah,
I know this is another one in contention here. I just like the ones betting on teams that are like solid with plus odds here.
Yeah, I mean one of these is bound to pull through for sure.
Right, and then the last one, I'm just going to take Buffalo and Cincinnati over 48.5 points.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, just again, their defenses aren't the best. The teams tend to score a lot. Cincinnati, I think, will put up some good points, and Buffalo's going to have to do the same if they want to stay in this game.
I would like to bite this one down to like 26.5 or 27. I kind of like a final score, maybe like 27-21 in this game.
Okay.
I mean, I guess, that would get it to 48. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be like right there. I do kind of like the over in this game. But, I mean, 48.5 is a lot.
That's true.
All right, moving on to my picks. I like the Rams plus 3, although I didn't really realize that I wrote this pick with kind of forgetting Matt Stafford was out. But I am still going to leave it just because Sean McVay is that good of a coach and Green Bay's look that bad. And then I love Dallas and Philadelphia over 46, like I mentioned. I think one team gets into the 30s here, and then the other team at least is into the 20s. Now on to the college football bets. I think this is now week 10, kind of nuts. Boston College plus 2.5 at Syracuse. I really do like this one. I think Boston College is kind of coming alive while Syracuse is falling off of the wagon. Rutgers plus 18.5 at home against Ohio State. They're going to get up for this game, also coming off of a bye. Lots of time to prepare and look ahead to this Ohio State team that has kind of just grounded out some wins against Penn State and Wisconsin. Then we got Nebraska minus 3 at Michigan State. I love Nebraska. They even have a chance to win their division and go play Michigan for the conference. Obviously, they'll lose that, but I like them here at Michigan State minus 3. Then we got Kansas State plus 4 at Texas. Definitely kind of a bold pick here. I'm not huge on this one, so I'm just going to tell you to consider it. Think about it a little bit. Texas with their backup quarterback again. Obviously, that methodology did not come through for me last week when they blew out BYU, but Kansas State is really good. They're really coming alive. Obviously, Big 12 champions last year, and they still have a lot of those pieces from last year. My favorite bet of the week is Virginia Tech plus 9.5 at Louisville. Louisville is a fraud to me. Of course, I already hate them for being Notre Dame. I want them to get punished for that. I almost like Virginia Tech to win this game, but we're just going to go with the 9.5. They're coming off of a little bit extra time. We know that they played on Thursday or Friday last week, so they had a little bit more time to prepare for this Louisville win, or this Louisville game. Could be a win. Michigan minus 32.5 at home against Purdue. Oh my God, Purdue is so bad. Michigan is going to roll them. Obviously, they're going to win by double digits, but I think it could even get just really nasty. It could get ugly in this one. So I'm going to take Michigan until they prove me wrong. USC, everyone's running off USC. If you look at the public betting on this game, it's like over 90% betting on Washington. So I'm going to take USC. I'm going to be in that minority to USC plus 3.5. Both teams are defenseless in terms of they don't play any defense. And USC's at home. I think Washington has really struggled lately, especially going on the road, at Arizona State, going on the road here at USC. I really, really like USC plus 3.5. And I guess at that point, probably even to win. And then Bedlam. Huge rivalry game, one of the final times it is probably going to be the final time they play because Oklahoma is moving to the SEC while Oklahoma State is staying in the Big 12. Oklahoma State has looked phenomenal over the last few weeks while Oklahoma has not. Obviously barely escaping against Central Florida, then losing to Kansas. So I like Oklahoma State at home plus 6. It's the only thing that matters to Oklahoma State. They are getting up so big for this game. Oklahoma obviously as well, as they need it to keep their season keep their season alive. But I'm going to take Oklahoma plus 6. Oklahoma State plus 6, that is.
Good stuff, bro. I really like that USC pick. People seem to be counting them out.
Dude, I can't believe, if you look at how the public is betting, they're putting 90% on Washington.
Always a good idea to fade the public.
Always, 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 always. And, that might even grow to, plus 4.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if it actually has already grown plus 4. We'll see how it goes as the week goes on. But, yeah, that's all we have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. You have any parting thoughts?
Not a whole lot. Dude, I don't know if I'm going to be able to craft a parlay for Thursday. I have almost kind of a ban list or of people who I don't like to include in parlays. And dude, the Titans are one of them. I do not like betting on any players from the Titans.
We just don't let these kids into the nightclub, man. They're trouble,
dude,
man.
Absolutely not. These guys do not produce consistent numbers, and I don't know how confident I feel in.
I think you can I think you can rely on Will Levis going back to D-Hop, whether it be as successful. I think D-Hop plus 3 receptions is a leg.
That could happen.
It's a leg to stand on.
Maybe D. Henry, I don't even know if I would take Henry 40 yards because he could be limited because he's got a little injury going on.
Does he really?
Yeah, he might not play. Goodness. Spears could be playing. And then I don't want to take the Pittsburgh receivers if Trubisky's leading their team. So this is a hard one.
This is a really difficult one. I almost want to say Pittsburgh money line, but I don't trust that even enough.
I don't like betting too much on the money lines, at least in a parlay, because those are less predictable.
For sure, than the yardage, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I think D-Hop plus 3, D-Hop 25 yards. I like Deontay Johnson 40 yards. And that might already be a pretty good lay right there in terms of the odds.
That could happen, yeah.
I just, Mitch Trubisky is love Deontay Johnson, whereas George Pickens is more Kenny Pickett's guy.
Okay. Yeah, I will have to check how many times
we're gonna make a parlay.
Hit. Okay.
We're not gonna pussyfoot around this.
All right.
We're gonna tackle it. I know that's your thing, but
you want me to tackle it? Do you want me to take control?
We can't turn away from this game just because it's a bunch of raccoons, dude. We could dominate the raccoons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, the last raccoon game, we got dominated. Commanders at the Bears.
That is true. But I think this game, we know these teams well enough at this point.
Okay.
To make a good guess.
All right, we'll make it happen. We'll come up with something.
All right. Thank you guys for watching or listening or whatever you're doing. As per usual, we will see you next week or later this week for some short action.